Sure bets. We are yet to get one of these wrong, which you would expect, but I don't want to jinx it. Me and Pilch are 2 from 2. Curtis is 4 from 4 because that's how he rolls, just saying extra shit. But we've all gone different ones here, which is, I think, a first so far this season. Kurt, who have you gone with here, mate?
Titans over the Jets. The Jets stink, so I don't even need to explain more than that. By the fact that they can't even put points on the board, so it's an absolute joke at the moment. And if you're a fan of the Jets, I'm sorry for you, to be honest, because I'm talking it's the Melbourne Footy Club of the late 2010s, early 2000s, early 2010s. Just it's a shit show, is what it is. So yeah, feel sorry for the Jets fans.
Yes, I actually feel bad for them. I'm going to be interested to see how Wilson goes this week. Obviously, the Titans' defense isn't horrible, but I think it's the worst he's played so far. Like, they've played the Panthers, the Patriots, the Broncos, who are all three pretty good defenses. So definitely going to be a big test for Wilson. If he has another 3 interception day against the Titans, then obviously he's not crap, but then there are real worries starting to come in from me and probably everyone else. Pilch, who's your sure bet, mate?
My sure bet will be the Chiefs to beat the Eagles. Just no way it doesn't happen. Just Chiefs coming off 2 losses in a row. And the Eagles looked real bad against the Cowboys. So yeah.
Yeah, I thought the Eagles' defense was gonna make the Cowboys game tight, regardless of how the offense played, but they got blown out. So yeah, I understand that one. I've gone the bookmakers' largest favorite, so a bit of a dog act, but I've got the Bills hosting the Texans. I just don't think, even though the Texans' defense actually looked somewhat okay on Thursday Night Footy last week, I just don't see a world where they keep the Bills below 30 points here, and I don't really see a world where they put up 20 plus themselves. So, yeah, I think the Bills win. The Bills win easy, and they did say they're going to take the training wheels off Davis Mills this week, and they're going to let him throw a bit more, which is going to be interesting to see because last week they didn't really give themselves a chance to win the way they were playing. But yeah, that's going to be one to watch. Upset of the week. This is me and Pilch are undefeated so far. Curtis is 2 from 4. And he's gone 2 again this week, so he has a larger margin for error, but he also has a larger margin for success, if you get what I mean. So I'll actually start us off with this one. I struggled for an upset this week. I just don't like it at all, but because when I looked, it was sort of confusing. The Ravens were underdogs at the line, but head-to-head they were favourites, so I didn't consider that underdog, because otherwise I probably would have backed them, but I'm going Seattle to beat Curtis's Niners at home. I did some research, and since the opening of Levi Stadium, Seattle are 6 from 7, and the only time they lost was in overtime in 2018. So they don't hate going to Santa Clara at all and getting the job done against Kyle Shanahan's men. And the last time Seattle were 1-3, they're 1-2 right now, so a loss here would make them 1-3. Was 2011, and that was the year before Russell Wilson got drafted. So, yeah, I think this is a good chance. I'm still high on the 49ers. I still like them a lot. I've predicted them to have 12 wins, and I'm not really turning the lights off on that call, but I just think Seattle, after a really disappointing Vikings game, after a disappointing loss to the Titans, they've been getting cut up by the run, which is a little bit of a concern because the 49ers are a good running offense, but I just think Seattle will get the job done here and win in a pretty high-scoring affair, I think that'll be a good game to watch, even though it's not on TV. So, for Australians. Pilch, what is your upset, mate?
My upset is Indy to beat Miami. Miami, not too high on them. They haven't looked unreal, 1-2, and then Indy are 0-3, and I think this has to be the bounce back game for them. Otherwise, you can rule playoffs out. So I think their D especially will come in red hot and they'll get the job done.
Yeah, they need it pretty much. On the review episode, I relegated them from my playoff picture, but a win here, who knows, could keep them back in the mix, and they definitely need it. it's going to be interesting to see what Miami does because their defense has been giving up a lot more points than they would be liking at the moment. So that's going to be an interesting one. Two quarterbacks not of, elite fame at the moment, but we'll see how that goes. Kurt, your two upsets, mate.
First one got Lions over the Bears. If the Bears play a stupid ass offensive scheme like they did on the weekend for a mobile quarterback, where they just left him in the pocket with 5 man. Defensive lines, I think they could be in strife because the Lions have not looked bad at all, and to be fair, gave the Ravens a run for their money. So yeah, I'm actually a bit higher on the Lions these days than at the start of the season. And then got the Panthers over the Cowboys. The Panthers D actually looks like scary, like it looks good. So, I think there's a chance that the Panthers can go 4-0. Darnold, as we've said earlier, doesn't look too bad. He needs to get rid of the fumbles that seem to be happening. But, DJ Moore's looking elite. Robbie Anderson probably gets some more volume and targets now, given given that CMC's out. Hubbard didn't look bad at all. So, yeah, I think the Panthers are a real chance to give the Cowboys a run for their monies and maybe get over the top.
Yeah, this one's actually on TV in Australia. It's on Channel 7. So keen to watch that one in the early kickoff. Could go either way, really. We'll see if the Panthers are the real deal, you'd have to say. The Lions Bears, bit more of a road call. Does the starting quarterback affect your decision making there at all? Like, are you happy to take the Lions even if Dalton starts or if Foles starts?
Don't think so. Like, obviously, what was like most upsetting about I reckon the weekend in terms of the Justin Fields debut was the fact that it was it was an offensive scheme that didn't suit him at all. It was like the Dalton scheme, and there was no RPOs, there was no getting outside the pocket. They just let him sit there and let Myles Garrett and Clooney just run over the top of a very average offensive line. So to be honest, I don't think so, because I think like surely Matt Nagy's like shifted up the offensive scheme to give the man a chance other than just sit in the pocket and have 1.1 yards, passing yards, which is disgusting to say the least. So yeah, I don't think it really changes my opinion on the game. I still think the Lions, no matter who the quarterback is and no matter the offensive scheme, is a chance, because Matt Nagy is a joke and needs to get the hell out of Chicago.
Yeah, he's not going to last much longer because they got this one, but then after that they've got 6 really hard games, so they could easily be 2-8 or something, and he won't be in the building at that point. So yeah, but must win for the Bears, and Detroit definitely deserve a W after the last couple of weeks. All right, spreads. Pilch is leading the way here. He's the only one over 50%. He's 3 from 5. Curtis is 1 from 4. I'm 2.5 from 8. I don't know. I'm not really confident on any of these three, to be honest. But my first one, I've got Washington, the favorites against Atlanta. The line's only 1.5, which I think is pretty outrageous. Yes, the Falcons are coming off a win, but they beat a pretty awful Giants lineup, and I just don't see how this defense keeps playing as poorly as it does. I feel like the Washington defense comes out, makes a statement, keeps Atlanta below 15 points, and I think the Washington attack is good enough to put up, 25 or something. So, yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with that one. My next one's Baltimore at the line. This is obviously at the time of recording, they are underdogs. The line's 1 point at Denver. Yes, Denver have looked really good so far, but they've played a combined opposing record of 0-9. So they haven't really been tested yet. And I think Baltimore is one of the stranger tests you can get with the way they play on offense. Yes, they didn't look great against Detroit, but Marquise Brown dropped 2 touchdowns pretty much. So, I think they played better than the scoreline suggests. And this is going to be an interesting one to watch as well. So hopefully Baltimore will get up here. And then my other one is Tampa Bay. The line is 7. They're obviously favorites heading into New England. I don't know. What I saw from the Patriots on the weekend against the Saints, I just don't think they're a good team. I thought their defense was going to be able to carry them this year, but it doesn't look like it's playing at the level that it needs to be to do that. And although it's always scary to bet against Bill Belichick, I just think the Tampa defense will come out and make a statement after a few poor weeks. And also, I think the offense is too hot to handle. So, an AB should be back this week, despite Scotty Miller going to IR. Curtis, your spreads, mate?
I've got the Titans at -7.5. Sorry to the Jets fans, but the Titans are winning by more than 7.5. The Browns at 2.5. I think that is a saucy spread. And then the Titans at +16.5. The Texans, at +16.5. I don't think the Texans are too bad. To be fair, like they actually look all right, and Mills, to be fair, looks okay. So yeah, I don't think they're going to be losing by more than 16.5 points. So I've got them in my spreads.
Yeah, 16.5. That is large. That's a pumping if Buffalo cover it. The Browns-Vikings one, might let Pilch talk about it a little bit more, but yeah, that's a spicy one. I was a bit scared because the Vikings did look good on the weekend, but Browns looked even better, so I think that's value for sure. Pilch, your spreads, mate?
Yeah, I've also got the Browns. They're obviously a way better team than the Vikings, but I do actually have a kind of a bad feeling about this one, but I'm going to lock it in anyway. They are playing away, and yeah, I could just see the Vikings causing an upset. But obviously, I think, like in all likeliness, they'll cover. And I've got the Giants +7.5 against the Saints. I just back the Giants' ability to keep a game close. Their last two losses have been by 1 point and 3 points. Last season, they did it all year, lost by 2 points every week. And the Saints' offense still stinks. So I'm not expecting a high-scoring game at all. And then I have got, same as you, Cork, the Ravens at +1 over Denver. I think they'll just win that game. So back them in.
Yeah, I'm actually very keen for the Baltimore-Denver game. It's a very interesting tactical matchup. I have to say, the Channel 7, for those Australian listeners, the Channel 7 lineup is kind of beating the Foxtel lineup this week. We've got Panthers, Cowboys, and Ravens, Broncos, as opposed to Chiefs, Eagles, and Packers, Steelers. Like, I don't really give a shit about those two pumpings, but yes, excited for another weekend of footy. Excited for, actually, not an extra hour of sleep, but an extra hour of footy after daylight savings kick in on Saturday. Looking forward to another hectic week of footy. Good luck.
It's a miracle! Oh, yeah! What about that one? No! Unbelievable! Balotelli! Aguero! Crowd cheers. Here's Siddle.